Now today we're talking of a wonderful way of transforming your negative thinking into a way which will allow you to have more empowering thoughts which will actually support you. That's right, today I'm going to give you a surefire way of how you can train up your mind to actually have the positive thinking rather than negative self-talk or negative thinking. You see, it's easily done with practice, but we've got to understand what we have to do to make that happen. You see, whenever you have a negative thought, you're thinking of all the things that you don't want, right? I don't want to be more in debt. I don't want another bad relationship. I don't want. When you do that, think of the image that you make in your mind. You're thinking and creating this image of the thing you dislike. If you do that, your attention goes to it. You're building neuroassociations to it. In fact, you're telling your unconscious mind that that's what you kind of want. You see, energy goes where your attention flows. That's why if you think of or you begin to decide on a new car that you want, you begin to see it everywhere. You see, if it goes in the forefront of your mind will look for more things similar to it. So if you're focusing on the scarcity or the debt in your life, guess what? Your brain is wired up to look out for more of the same. That's what it does. It's called the reticular activating system. And what we have to do is retrain it. Now, before we start really retraining it, we have to do this powerful process. Because the chances are, if you can't let go of negative thinking yourself, it just means that your unconscious mind is doing it for you. And it's been doing it for you on your behalf, very much like driving or walking or a thing that you've been doing for so long. You know, it just feels like second nature. That's why when you get in a car, you go from A to B, you don't even know how you got there sometimes because you've been just focusing on everything else but driving. Yet you are safe, you stopped at red lights and you looked out for people because your unconscious mind ran it for you. That's what happens with any issue that we have which we cannot control. It's like an overgrown garden. If you go down the one route so long, it's so easy to go down that new pathway. But it's very hard to go down a new pathway if that's set in stone or well trodden down. But how can we teach the unconscious mind to develop a powerful way of thinking every single time that old negative thought pops up? Well, this is exactly how. Are you ready for it? So what I want you to do is this. If you have a negative thought, it is your job, that's right, it's your job to reflect on the opposite or the contrary to that. Okay, so what we do there, if we have thoughts of scarcity around money or doubt around money or fear around money, as soon as that thought pops up, we have to focus on something else. So an instant way of changing, we focus on what we do have in our life. You see, the things that you have in your life has no scarcity to it. The things that you're comfortable with. Maybe you have gratitude for the clothes that you have, or the place that you live, or the people in your life, or certain traits that you have which actually assist you in the world. You see, as soon as you change that thinking to a thing of gratitude, gratitude doesn't have scarcity. In fact, it has abundance. So every time that negative thought comes up, one of the best ways is to think of something that you are grateful for. But that's not just there, because if you just do it that once, we can then add another reframe to it, okay? Now, what do I mean by reframe? So the first thing is, we've got the gratitude. That helps. But then we must reframe it. So as soon as you have that negative thought in your mind, you look for examples in your life, or even other people's lives, where that negative thought does not exist, or it does not hold as much weight. So for example, you said, well, I don't feel good enough, and that's the negative thinking you have. You then have to reflect on all the things you are good enough at. You see, that takes away from the not good enough. It might not let it all go, but by doing so, you're switching your brain to focus on the reframe of it, something which is different. If you say, for example, I can't lose weight. What we do is we look for times in our life where we have lost weight, or we look for other people who have done the exact same thing, because if they can do it, so can we. You see, if we look for examples in our own life or in other areas of our life, or even in other people, we are looking for evidence as to why we can do it and how that disproves the negative thoughts or idea that we're having. That's another great way. So now we've got the gratitude, we've got the reframe, focusing on other evidence which disproves the negative thought. The next thing we ask ourselves is, as soon as we have that negative thought, we've got the gratitude, we've looked for the reframe, then we ask ourselves, how can I be different? How would I like to be different? Because usually we go, why am I so negative? Or why does this always happen? And you get reasons. This way, you're going, how can I do things different? How gives you opportunity. The why gives you reasons, but the how gives you new ways of doing things. So you think, well, okay, I'm in debt right now. How can I get out of debt? How can I make more money? Or how can I attract someone new in my life? Automatically, you begin to look for opportunities. And then finally, having done the gratitude, having done the reframe, looking for evidence of other things, having done the how can I be different, then we go back to the why. Bear with me, we go back to the why, because I just said it's not very good, right? Because that gives us reasons. But we turn it on its head. As soon as you have that negative thought, why am I in debt? Then we just change it around. Why am I abundant? Why am I not good enough? Why am I good enough? That will then add another level. It will look for things in your life which actually, once again, disproves it, but it gives you a reality to it. So what we're doing here, every time you have a negative thought, we go, one, okay, gratitude. What do I have in my life? Like reflecting on the opposite. Number two, which was, I think, how can I be different? Number three, I think I got those two mixed around actually. So number one is ultimately, how can I, getting the gratitude. Number two was the reframe. That's what I was looking for. So other examples in the world. Number three is, how can I do things differently? And then why am I, whatever it is in the positive. So every time you have that negative thought, follow it up with those 4 ideas. It will get you to think different on every different question. It will look for resources. It will look for examples. It will disprove the old way of thinking. That is a great way of making changes. And if you do that with consistency over the next week, 2 weeks, even a month, you will completely obliterate that negative thought, because every time you have that negative thought, unconsciously, the new pathway would have been set and it will reframe, it will have gratitude, it will look for how to be different and why you are different in the positive. It will become an unconscious process. So we're doing the reverse thing which happened in the beginning of how you had and created negative thinking. But this way you are the architect and you're actually being safer in this world. So I really hope you enjoyed that. That is a profound way of changing. If you're liking this, go ahead to josephclough.info/mindmastery and you're going to find a great surprise of how you can utilize everything that I actually do online or things which I've kept offline, which I've now made available. So go to josephclough.info/mindmastery.